on our YouTube channel. So it's fine if you miss out a few things, you join late, or there is some interruption in the middle. You can always refer to the YouTube video that we post on our channel. Okay. If you have any questions, please keep posting your questions in the chat, and we'll take those questions if we have time at the end. Okay. With that, I'll start sharing my screen. Just a moment. Yes. So if you can see my screen right now, today's webinar is all about how to transition to machine learning from any field. And I'm going to be talking about writing your first ML paper and why it is so important, and also a realistic timeline. Okay, how to make this transition with a realistic timeline. And then I'm going to be talking a little bit about the SciML Bootcamp and the results of the previous batches of the SciML Bootcamp. So stay tuned with us through the end. And if you miss anything, please remember that we'll be posting the entire webinar on our YouTube channel. Okay, so let's get started. If this is your first time attending Videsh's webinar, I would like to give you a quick introduction to our team, our co-founders, our mission. So basically, Videsh was co-founded by three co-founders, Dr. Raj, Dr. Rajat, and Dr. Sridat, who are award-winning scientists and researchers from IIT Madras, MIT, and Purdue University in the US. Okay. At the time when they were in the US, they realized, or rather, Dr. Raj realized that he had actually applied for mechanical engineering masters in MIT. And at the time when he was in MIT, he realized that a lot of importance is being given to research. A lot of things are revolving around research, and that is exactly the same time when these three friends found out how crucial it is to have a research profile on your resume, on your profile, whether it is you're applying for grad schools, or whether you're looking for a job change, or whether you're looking to upgrade your profile. Okay, so research is something which is extremely underrated in undergrad studies, and even in universities like IIT Madras, it is not highly encouraged. And that is why actually these three co-founders came back to India, and they decided to inculcate the importance of research within students, within working professionals, to achieve your dreams. So either may it be achieving your dream universities, may it be landing that dream job, research is extremely important. And another important, interesting fact is that research is not only what we have in mind. What the traditional myth that we have in mind is that it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of patience. True, all of these things are extremely true, and all of these three friends have worked extremely hard to get their research papers published. But then at that time there was no professional mentorship, nobody to actually guide them through the entire process, aside of their professors. So it was a very meticulous process, but they decided to take these learnings back to India, and that is why Videsh was actually founded. So we rely heavily on research, and we believe that it is a very strong component of your profile, and a very, very I would say an important factor that counts in making your profile important. Okay, so that is about Videsh. And today's agenda, like I said, it's going to be Dr. Raj's story. We are going to be talking about problems with traditional machine learning. So it's going to be a little bit about how different are the courses that are available online, or what is missing actually in the courses that are available online related to machine learning. And then why writing a research paper in machine learning is given so much importance, and we emphasize heavily on that, why we emphasize heavily on that. And then how you can convert your existing projects to a research paper, and then a few research paper basics. Okay, like I said, at the end we'll be taking a few questions, and we'll be talking about the SciML bootcamp. Okay, so yeah, let's get started with Dr. Raj's story. So Dr. Raj actually is a mechanical engineer from IIT Madras. He passed out in 2017 as a mechanical engineer, and at that time he applied to universities like MIT for masters in mechanical engineering. So he even got into MIT. He went there, and let's say 1.5 year into his masters, he attended a job fair for just to get a feel of it. He had not graduated yet. He just wanted to get a feel of the market. And that is when he realized that the jobs that are available in the core fields are actually very less. They're diminishing. And this was back in 2018, 2019 beginning. So he saw a very prominent field coming up, a very prominent set of job roles coming up, and that was related to machine learning. And that is when he was curious. He was interested in what is machine learning, what are these job profiles, are there any professors that I could talk to. So that actually intrigued his interest more. He began speaking with a few professors at MIT who were taking up machine learning classes and who had their own research groups. And then he started attending a few of the credit courses that the professor suggested him, and he actually fell in love with the entire process of learning machine learning, and then applying machine learning and mechanical engineering and intersecting them together. So that was how he began transitioning to machine learning, and the rest is history. He graduated with a PhD from MIT in machine learning itself. So he completely switched his major from mechanical to machine learning, and that was actually a part of, I would say, a guided process that happened. A few of his professors really helped him to make this transition. But then a very important point to know here is that he did not have any formal CS background. And for those of you also who have a formal CS background, I would say that inculcating or integrating machine learning in your profile is a very good thing, whether or not you're applying for grad schools, whether you are looking to upscale your profile, whether you're in your existing organization and you're looking to upscale your profile for either changing your job role in the same organization or looking to transition to a completely different organization. Whatever it is, if you want to upscale your profile, what you need to do is you need to make sure that it is transitioned or it is upgraded in the correct way. Okay, so what he did, what did Dr. Raj exactly do? Okay, so Dr. Raj actually published a few research papers in machine learning. As you can see that this paper that he had published here, this paper was related to learning aided global diagnostics and comparative tool to assess effect of quarantine control on COVID-19 spread. So it was a very relevant paper at that point of time, because we are talking about 2020 when COVID hit, and it was extremely crucial. This paper was extremely crucial, and he published this with one of his guides, with one of his professors. And even he did a few projects, a few papers, like implications of delayed reopening and controlling the COVID-19 surge. So this, as you can see, he was first author in both of these papers. And it began he wrote one research paper and then he continued. So it was actually one after the other, writing research papers, right? So that's what he did. And as you can see, he published another research paper. Here you can see he was also, so as you can see, this paper also he published, and this was the report that they did for the US government. So you can see how important the work that the machine learning researchers were doing at that point of time was so important for predictive analysis of COVID-19. Okay, it was a very impactful, relevant topic at that point of time, and that actually helped a lot in making a successful transition. Okay, so what was it, okay, that helped him transition? He had no formal CS background. He did not take any DS algorithm courses. He did not take any CS courses. Of course, people who are from CS background in this webinar have definitely have an advantage of integrating machine learning in their profile, because they already have done a few courses related to DS and related to algorithm courses, etc. So also for people who don't have CS in their background, for those people also you still can integrate ML into your profile. Okay, so like I said, this was just a synopsis of a few of the research papers that Dr. Raj published, and the rest was history. He graduated with a PhD from MIT. Okay, and also very interesting fact to note is that he also received job offers from these firms, and all of these jobs were related to machine learning. They were either for an ML engineer, an ML researcher, ML analyst. All of these organizations, all of these big firms approached him because he knew machine learning. Okay, because he had written research papers in machine learning. It was not because he graduated as a mechanical engineer. Right, this is a very interesting a fact to note. And but then again he chose to come back to India to start his own firm along with the rest of the two co-founders, and that is how Videsh was founded actually. So again, what was his realization? What processes his mind went through when he was making this transition? Okay, so the way traditional machine learning is taught is not correct. Okay, that was his first realization. Because I'll take you through why he realized what he realized. But then the traditional machine learning courses take you through theory, they take you through projects, but they don't necessarily talk about research. Okay, and then another realization, very important, was any student can transition to machine learning. Now when I say transition, I don't mean you have to transition, or when you integrate ML into your profile you completely have to switch your domain. That's not what I mean at all. What you can do, it is completely up to you whether you want to completely change your profile as an ML engineer, as an ML researcher, or whether or not you want to just upscale your profile and add ML into your profile. Okay, it depends completely upon you on what career prospect you are looking at next. Of course, if your path is going to grad schools, if you are looking to apply to good grad schools, I would say integrating ML in your profile is a very, very strong point for admissions committee. Again, when I say integration, it has to be integrated in the correct way. Okay, I'll come to that part later on. But then for now, his realization was that students from any field can transition to machine learning. Okay, and then there should be a lot more emphasis on ML research. So like I said at the start, research is not given that much importance. Research is underrated. So he realized that research has to be given a lot of importance. That there needs to be a lot of awareness that needs to be created on why research is important among undergrad students, among graduate students, even among working professionals. So research is something which is extremely important and should be given more importance. Okay, so now we are coming to the part where we are going to talk about what are the problems with traditional machine learning courses for engineers. Okay, so this is the curriculum of a course that is released by MIT. This is a free course released by MIT with regards to machine learning, and I'll just take you through this course in a bit. Okay, so as you can see, week one starts with linear algebra, probability review, and then we go on to introduction to machine learning. We go to linear classifiers. Up till now, everything is fine. Okay, it starts with theory. It slowly takes you through a few projects. So project 0, project 1, project 2. Up till now, it's fine. But when you look at the projects, okay, these projects are toy projects. they are not related to any background, not CS background, not any core backgrounds, not finance, economics, no, nothing. Okay, these are just toy projects that you cannot add to your profile, whether it is that you're applying for grad schools or whether you're looking for a career change in your organization, outside your organization. These projects will add no value to your profile whatsoever. Okay, and that is something that that is the main problem with the traditional machine learning courses, okay, that are available online. These courses will actually give you a good insight into theory. These projects will give you a lot of good understanding of the theory, but you can't add them to your resume. Okay, it's like a good practice, as you can see, for theory, but then you have to do something serious, okay, to be able to add it to your resume, and something related to your domain. Okay, something that you can add to your add to your resume and can talk about, okay, very confidently. So these are the projects that this particular course at MIT is talking about. As you can see, the first project is the automatic review analyzer. It gives you the top rated movies, so it's completely off topic for any domain, for any field. You can't add this to your resume. It's like a toy project basically. Even digit recognition is something that you can't really add to your resume. And then we have collaborative filtering for Netflix movie recommendations, another completely off topic project. And then a text based game, sentiment analysis. Okay, so none of these projects, as you can see, are serious projects, right? They're all toy projects. And though they will give you a good practice of what you've learned, they will give you a good understanding of using the concepts that you've learned. You will feel that you have got a hang of machine learning. Okay, I can do these projects, I know machine learning very well now. Now let me add these to your resume and let me look out for jobs in machine learning, or when I apply to grad schools, let me add this under my project section. But that's not the case. Okay, that's completely not the case, and something that you should definitely not do. Because you shouldn't stop here. I don't mean to say that you shouldn't do these projects. These projects are good if you want to get a hang of theory, but then you should continue. Okay, you should go further, go a few steps further, and deep dive into machine learning as well. Okay, how are we going to do that? I'll take you through that part also. Okay, so like I said, these projects don't show how to combine machine learning with domain knowledge. Like I said, you can do these projects, but going a step further and combining one of like taking up a topic and combining that with your domain knowledge is something that we call as a serious project. Okay, and that actually gives the feel, whoever is reading your resume, whoever is looking through your profile, it gives them a feel that you're not trying to completely shut down your core domain, whatever it is. It might be CS, it might be another domain as well. But then it's very important for you to integrate your core domain with machine learning and do a project on that, do a research a paper on that. Okay, and then like I said, publishing research papers using these toy projects is not possible. So what is the next step after doing these toy projects? It's taking up serious projects, and one step above that is doing a research paper. Okay, so it goes in that way. First of all, you do fundamentals, you get the theory part cleared, you look at the concepts, and then what happens is that you then take on a few projects, and then you look at the research part of machine learning. Okay, that is how the FPR principle works. Okay, and that is the correct way to transition. That is actually how you should ideally transition. You shouldn't just wait, or you shouldn't just stop at these projects. What you should do is you should continue. Okay, and that is going to give you a complete transition into machine learning. Whether, like I said, it's completely up to you how you want to use this knowledge, this research in machine learning, whether you want to apply for grad schools or whether you want to switch your current profile. So when I say serious projects, what do I mean? Okay, see, I am giving you a few examples on the screen right now. When I say serious projects, what you can do is how to use machine learning to model COVID-19 infections. Okay, so this is like a predictive analysis kind of a project that is, yes, more serious, definitely more serious than Netflix movie recommendations. something you can definitely do. And then who is it for? Okay, it can be for engineers, it can be for scientists, it can be for data analysts. Okay, this is the exactly the kind of serious project that I'm talking about. Okay, also, a serious project can look like how to recover a chemical reaction equation from data alone. This can be meant for chemical engineers, people from a chemical background. And then you can also use machine learning to predict black hole analysis. You can also take up a project title using machine learning to predict economic market forces like supply and demand for economists, finance people. All of these things, all of these projects are serious projects. Okay, you can successfully add these projects to your resume and create a very, very strong impact. Okay, that you actually have worked in machine learning, you've actually taken up a serious problem in machine learning and worked on finding a solution. Okay, so again, very, very important. You can also take up a project saying using machine learning to analyze fluid mechanics, climate problems, etc., or probably any other topic that even the CS people can take up with. Okay, I was showing these few examples related to core domains, but if any one of you is from the CS background, definitely you can take up more serious topics from your domain as well. It's completely possible to take up any topic from any core domain and convert it into a serious project. Okay, and then what will happen? Again, like I said, what will happen? First of all, you will get a very strong confidence. If you pursue a serious project like this, you will get a more confidence. I would say 50-60% more confidence, rather than doing those toy projects that I know machine learning. Whoever it is that I need explaining to do, I can explain them very well on what I have worked on. Okay, so you will have a very strong understanding of the foundations of machine learning. And like I said, these projects can be converted into research. Okay, these projects can be converted into a research paper. All right, so this is something that you can do. And then of course, the next part is again publishing research papers, and then writing research papers, sending them to different conferences and journals. So that is like the epitome of learning any new topic or any new field. Okay, is that you're able to publish a research paper in that particular field. That is the epitome of a complete, I would say, integration of a new topic into your profile. So if you have published a research paper in machine learning, you don't need to actually say much, or you don't need to prove anything much more. Okay, because that is, like I said, there is nothing beyond publishing a research paper in ML when it comes to transitioning to ML. Okay, and then what will happen is you can include these projects, you can include these research papers in your CV, and this will open up multiple job opportunities. Okay, also this will open up new opportunities for grad schools, right? So this is something that is called as a very stepwise, process wise transition. Okay, whichever field you are from, since machine learning is so very important, it is rather now more than machine learning, we are moving on to generative AI, we are moving on to large language models, small language models, and agentic AI. So that is like every day something new is coming up, and that is how we need to stay in touch, or keep pace with the new things that are coming up. Okay, and unless you are completely imbibing one topic, you can't move on to the next. Okay, so if you are looking at doing or transitioning to generative AI, or transitioning to probably inculcating large language models in your profile, then that is like that is a different phenomenon altogether. But then if you're specifically looking for machine learning, if you are specifically looking to integrate machine learning in your profile, then no better way than following this path. Okay, so if you learn to do these projects on your own, like I said, what will essentially happen is that your profile will improve by 4 to 5 times. Okay, what we want? Okay, why are we here? Why are we in this position? Why do we want to integrate machine learning into our profile? At the end, we want to improve our profile strength. Okay, whether it is for grad schools, like I always say, or whether it is for a career change, the main point is that we want to improve our profile strength. Okay, the more our profile strength, the better chances we have of getting admits from top schools, the better chances we have of cracking job opportunities from top companies. Okay, so what we need to do at the end is we need to improve our profile strength, right? Scientific machine learning domains who can transition. Okay, so these are a few domains other than CS who can successfully transition. Of course, there are other domains also in which students have transitioned. I would say, fields like psychology, fields like physiology. So all of these things can be successfully combined with machine learning and used to create or used to publish a very impactful research paper. Okay, so because that is like the epitome of transition, right? Now what we are going to do, since we have understood the importance of writing a research paper, since we are at the point where we now know why writing a research paper is so important, because I just told you about a few projects that you can do. Okay, I just gave you a few examples, a few serious projects you can do in machine learning, and the next part of that is writing a research paper. Okay, I will also talk about how to get those papers published. I'll talk about which are the conferences, which are the top machine learning conferences where you can submit these papers. And that is actually the epitome of transition, right? For that, we need to understand how to publish a research paper, basically how to write a research paper, what are the components of a research paper essentially, and what goes into each component. Okay, so the next this particular section is going to be a little bit about what a research paper consists of. Okay, so the first part is the paper outline. Very, very important for you to understand that the paper outline is the skeleton of the research paper. It's very, very important to first figure out the paper outline, and then you can move on to writing the paper manuscript. Okay, like I said, these are all the parts that are there in the research paper. So part 1 to part 12 are the different sections that consist of a research paper. And then, like I said, these are the templates you can use. You can use Overleaf. Overleaf basically is a software which converts your text to a LaTeX document, and it makes your research paper look extremely professional. Now that we are deep diving into research paper details, it's very important for you to understand the different softwares, the different tools that are used to write a research paper. You can also use an MS Word template also if you are not comfortable with Overleaf. But then our personal recommendation is to go ahead with Overleaf because it's very, very simple. Okay. So the first part of the paper outline is the title. Title, like the word suggests, is a 12 to 13 word title, which will give an entire insight into what your research paper is about. Okay. So for example, the example that I'm showing here right now, modeling chaotic Lorentz ODE system using scientific machine learning. Okay. So this is completely clear as to what this research paper is about, and that is how your title should be. Okay, we are using scientific machine learning to model chaotic Lorentz ODE system. Completely clear, very, very clear, and no confusion, right? The next part is the abstract. Okay, the abstract is basically something like it's going to give an insight to the reviewer into what your research paper consists of. Okay, what kind of implications it has, what it is targeting, how you are targeting this particular problem in brief. Okay, so for your ease of understanding, what we have essentially done is we have divided the abstract into 4 parts. Okay, so first is the large scale problem. Large scale problem will basically cater to a wider audience. You have to specify here what kind of large scale problem there is, and the second part will be what is the specific challenge that you have chosen to address. Okay, this will be the second part, and this will again cater to a much smaller audience, right? Because you're talking about a specific challenge here. We'll also talk about specific merits and details of your approach. So part 2 and part 3 are very, very important, and they talk about what you have done, what you have chosen, how you have chosen to target that particular problem. Okay, so like I said, part 2 and part 3 implies to a much smaller audience, and then again part 4 implies to a wider audience. It talks about wider implications. Okay, so you can consider the abstract as an hourglass hourglass abstract. It's like a very easy to remember visual identification of how an abstract should be, and it will help you to write your abstract in a very point-wise way whenever you are writing an abstract. Okay, then we are going to talk about introduction. Introduction is the third part of the paper outline, extremely crucial, and I would say the part that gives complete, not just insight, it talks in detail about your research paper. Okay, it's like a 1200 to 1500 word essay, which in detail specifies the novelty of your research approach. Okay, again, for your ease of understanding, what we have done is we have divided the introduction section into 5 parts. First part caters to what is the problem. Okay, so like an abstract, we are talking in detail here about what is the problem. Okay, in very simple terms, we have divided this into 5 parts. Okay, second part will be how are people trying to solve this. Okay, so here is where you will talk about your literature study. Okay, because literature study is something you'll be doing before writing the paper outline, and here you will talk about literature study. Here is where you will talk about references also. Okay, and our recommendation would be obviously to involve or to mention references when you are writing the second point. Okay, and then what are the issues with the current approaches. Now here is where we are slowly moving towards the most important part, that is novelty of your paper. Okay, the novelty will be the deciding factor in whether or not your paper will be published or not. So the third part will be what are the issues with the current approaches, and then fourth part will be what do you propose. Very very important part, I would say the most important part of the introduction section is what do you propose. You have to talk here about your work, you have to talk about what you have done, and fifth part will be large scale implications of your solution. Okay, so essentially this is just abstract but in very detail. Okay, introduction section is again very very important, right? And then the fourth part is figures. Okay, figures are also a visual representation of your entire research paper, and it's very important to mention or to remember these 6 points that I have written here for very crystal clear, well connected figures. Okay, so high resolution figures, your figures should be in high resolution. There should be legible access text and labels. There should be consistent choice of colors, and there should be incredibly well lined with sub figures. There should be titles, legends, and sub figure numbers, and then font size and font colors, very very important. Okay, I understand that these 6 points are very I would say, all of us know that correct font or correct formatting is extremely important, but when we are actually inserting figures in a research paper, these are some things that need to be overseen. Okay, we have seen in a lot of students manuscripts that when you zoom in the papers, they are not clear, the figures are not clear, they are blurred. So that's not a very good thing to happen. It's very important to insert figures that have high resolution. And again, overleaf is a software through which you can insert your figures. Okay, now, yeah, like I said, these tools also can be used to insert figures, Canva, Adobe Illustrator, or traditional tools like Excel's PPT. But then using Overleaf, it is very, very easy. Okay. So this is the example figure. Okay, this is how you can actually, you can look at this as an example figure, and you can see that this figure has a figure number, figure title, sub figure number, sub figure description. It's like the perfect figure. It's like when you look at it, it's very clear. It has a labeling, it has figure number 1, it has a description also. We have legible x and y axis here written. The font size is also very consistent. So this is what we call as an ideal figure, right? Like I said, you can insert figures very easily in Overleaf. The next part, the fifth part of the paper outline, is the tables. Okay, like the figures, tables are also giving a visual impression onto your paper, and whatever can be converted into figures from text should be definitely converted into tables. I'm sorry, tables, right? So like I said, this is an example of the table that I want to showcase. Again, very important again to label each table, describe each table, and then talk about or keep the font size same. So formatting is very important when it comes to tables and figures, right? You can also insert tables in overleaf. Very, very easy. If you haven't checked out overleaf yet, you should go ahead and check it out. It's a very professional tool, specially designed for writing research papers, and it makes your job very easy. There's no coding required when you are inserting figures, tables, or text in overleaf, or no formatting also is required. Okay, you just have to enter text, and the text is converted into a latex format, and the correct formatting is already done. Okay, so it makes your research paper look extremely professional, and if you haven't already given it a try, you should definitely see how it works. Yeah. Now, the next part is adding references. Okay. If you remember, we added references in the third part of the introduction section, where the second part of the introduction section, where we were talking about what have people done to solve this problem. So how have other people approached this particular problem? Okay. This is where our references were written in the bullet pointed form, but there is also a separate section in the research paper where we have to add our references. Okay, there's a separate references section where we have to mention all of the references, right? This is where exactly we have to expand the bullet pointed version to a full-fledged version with all the details, and also add a few references. Okay, again, very, very important. Yeah. Now that we have a bullet pointed paper outline ready, we are now ready to expand this bullet pointed paper outline. What we will do now is we will make paragraphs, because if you know, research paper manuscript is made of different paragraphs. They don't have bullet points. Okay, there we have to write separate paragraphs. All right. Now you have to combine title, abstract, figures, references, everything into a paragraph. Okay, like I said, you have to convert these 5 points into paragraphs. Forget figures and tables, because they're already inserted, and you won't be able to, or you won't have to convert them into paragraphs. But mainly I'm talking about abstract and introduction. Okay, and references. Another important section is the acknowledgement section. Okay, acknowledgements is also a very simple short section, and talks about whom you want to acknowledge, or who you want to express gratitude. You'll get a very clear idea on what an acknowledgement section is once you do the literature study. Okay, so once you once you read a lot of papers before writing the paper manuscript, you will see how other people have written acknowledgements, and that will exactly help you figure out how you have to write your acknowledgement section. It's a very short and simple section. Yeah, like I said, now we will be converting our bullet pointed introduction to a full version. Okay, so now that we have already done that, what we are now going to do is, yeah, we are going to add another section which is called as the conclusion section, right? Conclusion section is, again, it quickly summarizes the paper. It quickly, what it does is, you have to just mention the quick takeaways. Again, the length of the section is same as the abstract section, but then it's like it will summarize your entire paper. Okay, in short, it will summarize your paper. Okay. Yeah, now we are at the stage where we are writing the entire paper manuscript, and this is the supplementary section. Of course, it's not mandatory to write this section. If there is something that you want to add in your research paper, like for example here, Dr. Sridath has added supplementary text. He is added another supplementary material for this manuscript. It's a section for, or targeted towards adding anything that you want to add, but you could not add in the previous sections. Okay, it's not mandatory. It's fine if you skip this. Now I'm going to be talking a little bit about the writing style, tenses, and about some common mistakes people do while writing a research paper. Okay, so please remember, rule of thumb, very, very important: use of active voice rather than passive voice. Keep this as a rule of thumb, that whenever you're writing a manuscript, keep everything in active voice. Okay, again, as a rule of thumb, when you're using past and present tense, a lot of students tend to get confused of which tense I should use, but then use present tense for analysis and past tense for experiments conducted. Okay, as a rule of thumb, this is an ideal way to go about it. And then grammars and spellings, now we are at an age, or we are in an age where plugins like Grammarly are available with us, and making grammar mistakes or making vocab mistakes is a complete no-no. Okay, it's completely, I would say, unadvisable to make small grammar mistakes, tense mistakes, even active passive voice mistakes, and even vocabulary mistakes. It's a strict no-no. Okay, so please make sure that you're not making any of these mistakes. And then what happens when you're done with the manuscript, you are ready for a submission. Okay, how do you identify a journal or a conference for submission? Okay, so typically for machine learning, there are a few top conferences in the world, like NeurIPS, MSML, JuliaCon, IEEE, CERN. So these are some of the top conferences and journals that we target when we are making submissions for machine learning research papers. How do you target, or how do you find these journals, or how do you decide which journals to submit to? Now that we are talking specifically about machine learning, your research papers will be written in machine learning. The topics or the conferences or the journals that I just talked about right now are the most impactful in the world. Apart from these, there are also many journals, many conferences in machine learning that you can make submissions to. Generally, an impact factor of a journal decides the quality of the journal. Okay, so every journal has an impact factor, and the higher the impact factor, the better the journal is, and the more difficult it is for your paper to get published in that journal. Okay, so this is how you have to basically identify journals and conferences. Now that we are specifically talking about machine learning, like I said, I won't be deep diving into how to select journals and conferences for any other topic. Okay. Yeah. Now we are going to be talking a little bit about the different boot camps that we have at Videsh, not just machine learning boot camp, but then a few things that we have available. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about machine learning first, and then I'm going to take you through the website to talk about a few more. Okay. So this scientific machine learning bootcamp is actually gaining a lot of traction. It's gaining a lot of momentum because recently our students submitted to NeurIPS. It's one of the top machine learning conferences in the world. The submissions were made about a couple of months back, and our students begin receiving results. Okay, so I would say approximately 4 students got their papers published in NeurIPS through the Scientific Machine Learning Bootcamp. And I would say like it's a very prestigious achievement. And, I would say that writing impactful research papers and getting them accepted in conferences like NeurIPS, it's a big thing, and it's something that you can be proud of. So we even got a few papers accepted at MSML, at JuliaCon, and even a few papers accepted at IEEE through this particular scientific machine learning bootcamp. Okay, so what exactly are we doing in this particular bootcamp? Okay, this bootcamp consists of 2 parts. The first part takes you through the theory content as mentioned here. So this is like the curriculum, okay, of this particular bootcamp. As you can see, it takes you through first, the introduction to machine learning. Then we'll be talking about UDs, ODs, what is Julia, then physics informed neural networks. We'll be talking about decision trees, and all of these topics, all of these theoretical topics will have assignments at the end. Okay, you'll have to submit assignments, and our co-founders will review these assignments and provide their feedback. This is essentially the first part of the scientific machine learning bootcamp. The second part will be the projects. Okay, so these are a few of the serious projects that I just talked about earlier in today's webinar, and these are the research projects that we'll be doing. Okay, so this is the black hole dynamics using SciML, and this is the COVID-19 infection prediction using SciML. So these are very serious projects, and these you can successfully add to your resume, okay, very confidently. And then the third part will consist of research paper. Okay, here what we'll do is we'll choose an impactful topic depending upon your domain, depending upon your profile, what is relevant for your profile, because we understand that every student has a different profile and different story to tell, okay, and different career aspirations as well. So we'll be selecting a topic in the third part, and then we'll be in a very step-by-step way that I just explained to you. We'll be assisting you in writing a research paper. What will be the outcome of this boot camp? You will be making submissions to top ML conferences, okay, and also you'll be getting certifications from organizations like JuliaCon. It's an organization who has introduced Julia programming language, very much effective in machine learning, okay. So we have recently collaborated with Julia, and you'll be getting a certification from them, okay, from Julia Hub, right? These are the projects that I just talked about. What you can do is, I've just given a brief example of how these research papers look like. I'd also shown these papers at the start of the webinar, right? These are the few research projects that you can work on, and then these are the different plans to choose from, okay. So we have the student plan that is completely self-paced and only has the module 1 that I explained. Community plan is basically, it will connect you to an entire Discord community and you will have one-to-one mentorship, but this does not include the research paper writing part. The SciML researcher and the SciML industry professional plans are actually, I would say, include everything right from the theory to projects to research. And then how different are both of these plans from one another is that in the industry professional plan, you'll be taking upon different industry oriented problems. The theory content will be also very much catered to the fact that you are a working professionals. We will take into consideration that you are a working professionals, and the lectures, pre-recorded lectures, will be in a way, or will be addressed to you in a way that you are a working professional, okay. What we will help you with, we will help you with the following: confidently transition to ML from any field, even it is CS, non-CS, does not matter. Implement domain specific real life hands-on projects and learn how to convert ML projects into research publications. So like I said, not it's important not to wait just by doing projects. You have to go a step ahead, a little bit out of your comfort zone, to write and publish those research papers. And that is when you will actually make a successful transition, okay. And why are we doing all this? We are doing all this to strengthen our profile, right? Yeah, these are a few testimonials that we've received. On the right, I've just mentioned a few details about the SciML bootcamp papers being accepted to JuliaCon. We worked on topics like brain tumor, cancer cells, ocean pollution, neuron plasticity, etc. And we also, like I said, have a few acceptances to NeurIPS and even MSML for this year, okay. So these are a few conferences that you can target, right? These are the few posts that we've even posted on LinkedIn. Students who have gone and presented at JuliaCon, MSML as well. So these are a few things that you also can get opportunities to do, okay. This is just a glimpse of life at MIT. These are Dr. Sridhar's photos. So just a quick glimpse of what life at MIT looks like. So if you are interested in the scientific machine learning bootcamp, send an email to hello@flyvidesh.com. Mention your profile, and it's fine if you don't add your resume or anything. Just give us a link to your LinkedIn profile. We'll go through your profile and we'll revert to you as soon as possible. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking you through our website, okay. If you can see my screen right now, I also want to talk a little bit about different research domains that you can harness depending upon your profile. We just talked about the SciML research bootcamp. There is also an MLDL research bootcamp, okay. So this is a very traditional field of machine learning and deep learning that we have available. If you look at the curriculum, I'll just take you through the program curriculum here. Yeah. So this is the program curriculum. We'll be talking about Python foundations from here. So you might be having a question: is it mandatory to have basic Python knowledge before joining this bootcamp, or is it mandatory to have any programming language? So we start from the complete basics for you to be clear. In the recording or in the YouTube video, I'm also going to be mentioning a link to foundations of Python. So if you are completely new to Python, you can watch that playlist. It's completely free. I'll be mentioning the link to that playlist. But to answer your question, it's not really mandatory to have a Python programming language experience before joining this bootcamp. We'll be starting everything from the very basics. Okay, we'll be going then in the ML foundations, a few of the regression problems, decision trees, neural networks, part 1 and part 2. All right, and then we'll be deep diving into the research, and at the end you can also see that we have a few papers published through the MLDL bootcamp as well in 2025 2024. So you can go through these papers are available on our website, so you can easily go through these papers. I was talking a bit earlier about the Gen AI trend also that is coming up in the industry, where the industry is currently moving right now. So we also have a generative AI professional bootcamp that also heavily focuses on research, where you can take up problems related to large language models, and Gen AI, and you can also harness these problems. You can take up your industry problems also, and you can write research papers based on these problems as well. So this basically is catering more towards generative AI and large language models. And so these basically are the three boot camps that are very much research oriented. And what you can say, they are, I would say we have a lot of research papers published through the Gen AI and the MLDL bootcamp as well, in addition to the machine learning bootcamp. Okay, so these are a few things, a few examples of how you can write your research papers in which topics that intrigues you or interests you the most. And you can reach out to us on hello@flyvidesh.com if you need any more details. Okay, also I'll be posting the link to the YouTube recording in the email that I'll be sharing with you. You'll be receiving the link. So if you've missed anything, there's no reason to worry. You can even go to that particular link and watch the YouTube video for reference. Okay, I'm stopping my screen share right now, and I can yeah, unable to hear anything. I'm sure that the rest of the people were able to hear and see. So I think we are coming at the end of today's webinar. If you have any questions, if you have anything that you want to understand basis on your profile, or which bootcamp is more suitable for you, or if you already are doing something and you're stuck, you don't know what to do next, reach out to us at hello@flyvidesh.com. Okay, so Python playlist link, yes, I'll be sharing that link in the YouTube video that I'll be posting. So please check the description of the YouTube video. You'll find the Python list in that. Okay, so you can watch that list through the link that I'll be sharing. Right. So yes, I don't think there are any more questions. Thank you so much for your time. It was great, meeting with you and delivering this session. Thank you very much, and I will see you soon in the next webinar. I think there's another question here. Just a moment. Yeah, so Vigneshwaran, can you please send me an email to hello@flyvidesh.com, because what you're asking looks like a very personalized question, and it would be better if I address that question personally to you. So please get in touch with me at hello@flyvidesh.com, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much, everyone, and all the best. Thanks a lot for attending.